So, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to this session. And I now invite Professor George Dorr to moderate this section. A round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Aram. Fiagbeji. I almost confuse his name with, there is another even name, Fiajigbe. And so, Fiagbeji, Fiajigbe. Anyway, he is Aram Eric. Fiagbeji, not Fiajigbe. Thank you. So this is what we are going to do. When we ask a question or give a discussion point, let's allow the panelists to answer the question first. Then we throw it to the whole audience. Yours could be an answer or any related discussion. So let's begin with question and discussion point 1. What do you consider as the most compelling change that has occurred in Borborbor dance music during the past few decades? Thank you. Anyone can go ahead.
I think that one will do with the dance, the Borborbor dance. Yeah, I think the Borborbor dance has changed a lot. The drumming and the singing aspect is not so much as the dance. Yeah, the dance has changed tremendously. It has changed. Everything is different from the way it was before.
That sounds like a choreographer and dancer, right? So, look, this is a good question for you to say something about the drumming. What about drumming, which has a master drum, whether Havana, which has started from what, 1 to what, 4, so or songs. So it's we've heard the choreographer's point of view. So go ahead.
Yeah, I would also like to say what has changed drastically. 1, the way they dance. First, see this shaking of their buttocks as such, but now that is the order of the day. When you see people playing Borborbor and they are dancing, they do not shake their buttocks. Many people say, oh, they are not doing well. And also the costume, the kind of costume we put on nowadays, it wasn't like before. And the third one is the drum beat. The kind of drum beat that are being played nowadays wasn't like before. So to me, I will say these are the 3 major things that all 4 have changed drastically in terms of Borborbor music. Thank you.
So the dance, costuming, and the drum, master drums. Any other? Go ahead.
Thank you for the question. On my side, I will say the trumpet aspect too has a change. At first, the vocalist would take on for a long period of time. And if the trumpeter will come, he will just come and play interval and a beat, start tuning one song, then trumpeter will hand over to the vocalist. But nowadays, it's no more like that. As soon as the trumpeter take over till the end of the game. Thank you.
Thank you too. Any other observations?
Okay, so my observation has to do with the dancing aspect, because for the composition aspect, we have the secular and the gospel line of composition, so it remains the same. But the dancing aspect, what I notice nowadays is that the way for the trick, we can't take it away from Borborbor. Shaking of the bottles, we cannot take it away because, I mean, that is how it was from the word go. But to the extent of sleeping on the floor, and in fact, like you have, I don't know, I excuse my language, but there was a video that circulated on social media some time past. Very, I mean, very, very disturbing, actually. You see the Borborbor dancers lying on the floor and, you know, trying to fuck the ground. Excuse my language. Yeah, that is how they were doing it. And I asked myself, how come do we, you know, bring our Borborbor to this extent? I mean, we cannot allow that to happen. We have to protect the integrity of the Borborbor. I mean, because it's a kind of traditional, you know, dance or drum that a lot of people cherish. So we can't allow it to be going to the extent of, you know, uncalled, you know, I mean, things sort of. That's what I notice about it.
Thank you. Any other observations?
Okay, I would also like to add something. The Borborbor dance, I think a lot of the dancers they've taken the change. Yeah, some of them do it more than what is expected of them to do. So, assuming you go for a funeral, and then your dressing doesn't go with the occasion, and then when you go, you like the sleeping on the floor, you twerk on the floor, it's unacceptable on a funeral ground. When you go for weddings, there are some kind of performances you give there. It's different from what you do in a funeral ground. It's different from what you do on a stage. That was what I said earlier, that depending on the kind of people that you meet at a particular program should tell you the kind of performances you should give. So I want to put this across to all the Borborbor groups out there, that they shouldn't abuse the change. Do it in the right way. Don't do it too much. Don't let it be an eyesore. Make it decent. As for the dancing, Borborbor dance, we don't normally dance it with the buttocks. Because it's not all the dancers that has the buttocks. We dance with the waist. Yes. There are some dancers, they don't have the buttocks. Yes, but they can shake very well. It tells you that it is the waist that we use to dance Borborbor. Those who have the curvy backside, you see that it's there already. So whilst the waist is shaking, the buttocks will shake as well. So yeah, it's great. So that is it. Thank you.
So, any other? Now I will be throwing it to the audience. This is very decent. But before we call Dr. Senyo Ajay, just want to speak to what's her name? Rita's previous point. The AV acknowledged contest. That is why there is a saying that Ometso Agblegbona Vado Hadao. You don't come from the farm, even if you are the lead singer, to come and intone the song because you don't know what is happening back home. So that tells you AVs are very conscious about contests. And Borborbor, the color symbolism and all these things, they have meanings, right? So again, it depends on the context. If it's a casual performance, it's different from what people wear. You are a Borborbor group. For example, if you are mourning a chief or a man of integrity or a queen mother, even your dressing, the color of your dressing should show respect of that esteemed member of your community. And again, people are very proud of their groups, and that this Borborbor is coming from Ashanti Quenta or is coming from that town, and so people are proud of their identity. So if there is a funeral, a festival, you're performing and you are mindful of all the visitors who are there, you must represent your group well. So I agree with you that although we have all these possibilities, we have to be very hot, critical as to what we do as Borborbor hot performers. Now, let me throw it to you, Dr. Senyo Ajayi, and on the same issue.
Yes, Prof.
Thank you.
Yeah, what has changed over drastically over the period? Prof, I think that first of all, we need to have 2 or 3 things before us before we are able to tell what has changed about the 3 things we are seeing. So to be able to speak about change, it means that we know something existed, which we have seen before. But if you are here and you have not experienced that kind of differences over the period, it may be very difficult also to talk about a change. It is the reason why the practitioner's view in this matter is very critical. But if a practitioner, again, has not seen what existed, the practitioner may be telling us things from his or her own mind. So it is important for us also to contextualize the changes we are talking about. Then we talk about dance movements that have changed. Again, I ask myself, there are 2 components of composition or performance, performing Borborbor. Those are the members of the group, and those are the audience who inadvertently becomes members of the performance. Now, so when a performer, the group is doing something, and an observer just joins as a result of any external influence of any kind of liquid, and does something, and we photograph and put on the line, that does not necessarily go to speak to the group doing what is that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. For example, somebody decides to be rolling on the floor and dancing. We question ourselves first. That person who has been videoed and taped, is he part of the group? And what is doing, is it part of the thing the group has rehearsed? If it is not, we treat it as something we just pass by. Then we can access that also in that limit. However, based on some studies we have done, Prof, sir, there has been several changes over the genre. I mean, he was talking about trumpet. There was no trumpet in Borborbor, but there was a bugle. Today, we don't even play the bugle, and the bugle has a limited pitch. Today, the trumpet has taken over. So we know that now we have the trumpet with the valves that is able to play all the tones that there is and is able to play the song. So that is a major change. What exactly has changed? I said earlier in the morning that this is a secular dance that was not in the church. Now it has moved completely. Most of the great Borborbor groups I have come across, some of them are in the church. So it has moved from the secular into the church. Now we talk about instrumentation. If you see the composition of instrument, it also varies from one community or one group to the other. There are groups today who add kroboto to Borborbor dance. And these are all part of the innovation because they feel that the sound. There are groups who today will add djembe. We know that djembe has no Ghanaian origin, but because the sound gives them something that somebody is able to play and somebody is able to dance some kind of movement to it, they bring djembe. So a lot of musical instruments have been imported at some point, and these are changes, and let's not even talk about song and text and so on and so forth. Maybe I'm talking too much. Thank you, Prof.
Dr. Aaron Fiagbeji, you are also part of the panel you've presented. So if you want to share any perspectives on this question, you may do so, or else we will move forward with the next question, right?
Yeah, thank you. Maybe another change or innovation is the dynamic relationship between the trumpets and the master drum. Because before, the bugle or the trumpet was just played to fun the dance or to energize the dancers, and that was it. But now, as we heard in the presentation, the trumpet does a lot more than that. And there are certain rhythmic passages that the trumpet plays together, sometimes together with the drummers. Other times they break away, they go do their own thing, and they come back and meet. So these are I would do. I'll give. The other one is the playing of, as somebody put it, what was the word? Distraction, or somebody used distracted. Misleading, thank you. Yes, another innovation is the misleading passages or melodies. So like the person said, there's a performance, they are singing a particular song, the trumpeter comes in with another song, and you think that after he plays that, the group will sing that song. But before you realize, he comes in with another song or repeats the song that the group was singing. So the trumpet now introduces the song, plays the interlude, and does a lot more than it used to be in the past. Thank
Okay.
you. This will be my addition.
Thank you. Let's move to the next question. But of course, I will have my own hot ideas about the most compelling or change of the master drums from 1 to 3 or 4. But we'll come to that later on. So question 2. During the 47th ICTM World Conference hosted by the University of last summer,
I am on a Zoom meeting, so
audience
I'll be in
Gromas,
My name is Olivia.
their profound
Please,
aesthetics
I have a question.
with the Borborbor dance in a resounding demand. We want more Borborbor. We want more Borborbor. To explain this, Abibi Groma, which is the resident performance group,
What is the difference between a master?
a concert with several genres and ended it with Borborbor. And the conference participants joined. And at the end of it, when the MC said that was the end of the concert, they said, no, we want more Borborbor. We want more Borborbor. And they demanded, and more Borborbor was played and they danced. This positive reception behavior aligns with how several Ghanaians, including non-Ebe people, perceive Borborbor dance's aesthetic appeal. So this is the question. So, what really makes Borborbor so pleasurable or tantalizing? Indeed, the Ebe say that it is the sound of soup that pulls the stool. How do you think? So let's begin again with the panelists, including Dr. Fiagbeji.
Thank you for the question. I think the reason for this question is that nowadays, Borborbor is a music or a type of music that you can sing any song or a song in a different language on it. That's the first one. And the second one is wherever you are and you hear the sound Borborbor, it makes you feel some ways. Sometimes if you are in a pain, it's some type of dance in which me myself, if I am bypassing, I can't bypass the Borborbor just like that. I have to taste it. Unless I'm in a passenger car. Because it's very attractive. And the way they dance on it, we have the two types. There is another one that we normally play. You play for everybody to dance. Not any selected style, or everybody do his or her own thing. So with that aspect, everybody will enjoy the show. And there is another one that there are some specific dancers for the group that will come and perform. After they perform finish, they can allow you to enter the floor or they close on that one. Thank you.
Okay, so I think it's a combination of, everything that has to do with Borborbor, the drumming aspect, the songs, the percussions, everything inclusive. That makes the Borborbor dance or the Borborbor drum, interesting. As my brother has just said, it
Okay,
is that
good afternoon.
kind of
Please,
song
my name is Fafa,
Borborbor, and
and I want to ask.
it's something you enjoy. It is not like other drums, or it is not like other rhythms that will be difficult to, take some other, songs. But with Borborbor, whatever song it is, it is easy to go by it, than the others. That is what I, see about it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I also do a little add up. I think previously, Borborbor, we normally, one of those days, we normally hear them in, let's say, our villages. Normally, most of the time, all the time, voter. It's all about voter, voter, voter. But now, because of bringing it to the cities, like the Kumasi, the Accra, and then its environment, it has opened eyes to people. Someone has left voter. When coming to Accra, he has decided that, okay, I'm in Accra, I'm here to work. So he doesn't think of maybe those kind of things, even though he knows how to do it. But because the world is evolving and things are changing, whenever they hear anything about Borborbor being played, they also want to join. So because of that, we have the talent in our environment, but because we left it at a village, we don't have any idea to use it here. But because we are trying to bring it back, that is why Borborbor is being loved all over. Whenever the sound, whenever you hear it, you are ready to go with it. I think that's what
Okay. So Borborbor beat is danceable. You can dance any form of dance on a Borborbor beat. Like my brother said, you can sing any song on a Borborbor beat. And the fact of it is that it's danceable. Any danceable music brings everybody on board. So I think that's the interesting part of it. The beat, the Borborbor beat is danceable. So everybody can dance on it.
So,
All right, thank you. So what made it tantalizing? Because I was I was present and I saw how the foreigners during the ICTM received the Borborbor dance. And I want to say that all what the co-panelists have said are true. But then to add that it is the participatory nature of the Borborbor performance that was held that evening. It was so participatory that, almost everyone present at the drama studio involved in the dancing arena. And also the fact that there was a lead dancer, somebody who demonstrates a dance movement, and everyone would want to repeat those dance movements. So you will see that most of the participants may not have the flexibility of dancing, may not have the may not be able to connect to the rhythms the way it is. But then just for the fact that it is participatory, those dancing are having fun, the singers are having fun, and everybody is together. That is one reason that I would say made the foreigners kept asking for more Borborbor performance.
So, any other observations from the panel? Else, I'll throw it to you. What makes Borborbor so pleasurable? We want more Borborbor. And let me tell you, I've said not only Avis, I have witnessed this when people die in Aviland and we have visitors, co-workers coming from different regions, and they attend these funerals in the Volta region. They will be asking you, when is Borborbor music going to be played? so that they are part of the music in they experience it before they return. So go ahead.
Yes, please. My name is Mavis from a baby grandma. Yes. I'm talking from a dancer's perspective. Looking at the other dance forms or traditional dances in Ghana, I'll give a typical example like Adowa. As simple as it looks, it is not that simple. But comparing it to Borborbor, it has some basic flair that you don't have to be able to shake your waist for your butt to gyrate before you can enjoy the dance. I don't know how to say it's simple, kind of, quote unquote, for you to join in the dancing ring and just enjoy yourself. So as Dr. Fiagbeji said, the participatory, opening it for everybody to join and do whatever, not just any movement, but that day in particular, we introduced some of the simple movements of Borborbor, and even the whites were able to, not doing it perfectly as we were doing it, but at least they were able to go with the rhythm and go with the flow and the trumpet and everything. So I think Borborbor is, I don't want to use the word simpler because if you are not a dancer, you don't see it as simple as it looks. But it has some flexibility instead of, in a way, if you want to learn the dance, it's a bit flexible compared to the Adwa and the Kete and the Font. Some of the dances are very technical, and the word dance was the Agbeko. Those ones, they are very technical, that you have to listen. Agbeko, for instance, is a drum language that the master drummer calls and you respond to whatever he's playing. But this one gives room for you to enjoy yourself. So if me and I will enjoy Borborbor as well as a Kwando person will enjoy it. Though I might not understand the drum language, but I'll follow suit what they are doing and just enjoy myself. Thank you.
Yeah, so before Professor Amielo, let me just add, you've given two names of two dances. This one is inclusive, one is exclusive. Remember, Agbeko is a stylized dance, and they regress. If you're not a member of the group, you don't know. But this is an inclusive dance, just like Agbaja, more inclusive, a recreational dance. And I agree with you with the flexibility. You know, when we talk about Borborbor in the village, for example, that it's only the women who do the dancing, right? We, the men, are allowed to fool about and do anything in the middle. Don't you? So that is also flexibility. So when the Evis themselves, every men are allowed to do their own stuff to enjoy. So when visitors, they feel at home.
is there and you try to join them. And later on, the bass guitarist also joined and all that. If we don't take care, when that one becomes the norm at a certain place, it will travel to every place. And I don't see how these instruments must mix with Borborbor, you know. And lastly, I also think that some of the changes, you know, they may not be accepted now, but may be accepted even when we are dead and gone. But we must still have a way of preserving, you know, the tradition, to know the negative ones and the positive ones. But I think what makes it very interesting is the dance and the flexibility and all that. Thank you.
Yeah, I see a hand over there, up over there. Go ahead. Sheila.
Thank you all so much. I would want to believe that I don't know whether my thesis writing has actually has moved my focus. But I think that the Borborbor dance is actually, it gives way for energies. I'm beginning to believe that African dance in itself is a form of, I wouldn't want to put spiritism here, but it's a form of spirit, which comes out from different energies, especially the master drama. I mean, if the master drama has the energy of one drama to the other will actually, the sync, I don't know what I'm making sense. The unity of the drummers is what transcribes into something, an aura that you'll be surprised, it can create healing, which is my field. That's what I'm doing. And I think Borborbor dance actually encourages those energies to come into perspective or display, as compared to ritualistic music, where one song is being sung 1,000 for generations. They are singing the same particular style, same movement for the same gods. But when you come to Borborbor dance, it's not ritualistic in any way. Everybody's soul is into it. And usually, if the drummers don't play well, the whole scenario is
So I think they also add to you. You are familiar with the dysfunctional harmony already, and you can relate to it. Although we have our own reservations about too much of it, but I think that also helps. Now we are now ready to listen to you online. Thank you. Call your name and just go ahead. Okay, let's take another observation. Then
Okay,
now
so
go ahead.
yeah, so I just want to add up to the energy level. Myself in my compositions, I normally would like my tempos to be, very fast, because Borborbor, if it's dull, it doesn't really move you. But if it's a bit faster, that's where, you'll be touched and be moved to enter, and also, dance, or maybe, join the participation. So normally when we are doing our Borborbors, I in particular, when I studied our friends, our neighbors, the Togolese Borborbor, they do very slow type of, Borborbor. Nye maku mano agbe. That's the way they do it. But in our part of the world here, Volta here, we like to be, I like to do it a bit faster. Like Mega glemu diwo nemazunu kokwe na nyeke towo mawo asiwo nuko pomele wo mazunane tronye nutinya wo mazunane asiwo nuko pomele. So when the drum and everything is add up, you can't sit. It is not possible for you to be sitting and be watching. You have to come in.
I also, it's not only what songs originally composed for Borborbor, but they can Borborbor people can steal your song and it becomes a Borborbor. Do you know the composer of No Vivo Mi Gavon Mi Pon Yesu Ji? Do you know that song? I don't know. Anyway, so they can, anyway, any other? Let's go back. Are you ready? Else, next point. Online.
Hello. Hello, please, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, speak, we can hear you.
All right, okay. I would like to also add that Borborbor is a combination of two factors. What makes the Borborbor, that people enjoy is one, the rhythmical expression of the Borborbor itself, and then the songs. Unlike Agbaja, sometimes the song, people find it difficult to sing the song. But the Borborbor, the songs are very easy. Very, very easy for you to sing. And then the drumming also, the beat. So I think these are the two factors for me that makes Borborbor very enjoyable. Thank you.
to come and perform in Ho, he can't play up to 10 minutes because their rhythm there is very low. But Ho, before you realize, they sing the song finish. So you have to bring another one. All of a while, we are chasing 2 hours. But within that 2 hours, you are playing more than 100 songs because it is very, very fast. So the drummers too, you could have seen that they are using their power. The trumpeter to the same thing, the singers to the same thing, but they cannot play long plate like those that play slow. Thank you.
Yeah. To our neighbors, like let's say the Togo people, like he said, they have slow, their rhythm is very slow. That makes them play more beats, like long beats. But because ours here, like the Ho and then the Taviepe, you can't play long beat on those because it's very fast. It's running very fast. So you can't express yourself very well. But there's, you can express yourself through beat. And then even when the rhythms are coming, because it's very slow, more rhythms comes. You can play more beat, more things come. You can create more things over there. But because ours are very fast, you can't even create anything. You are just like that is the only thing you can play. I always say, but it makes it very nice too. It's very good to go with.
So we are talking about tempo, right? The advantages and disadvantages of tempo, right? So any other observations from the panelists? Else I'll throw it to the audience. If you have anything else to add about sub-original stylistic differences.
Well, I would want to maybe add,
Go ahead.
It's a question to the practitioners, but it's in line with the question on the floor. Since we are talking about regional variations or community variations, I think the master drummer in his presentation mentioned something to the effect that they create their own thing using adages and proverbs and all that. And I want to find out from them whether the drum rhythms or the rhythmic motifs, aside the slowness or the fastness of the tempo, are there any differences in the rhythmic motifs or the rhythmic structure? For example, because you are here, you use your own words, adages to create. But is it the same? Are you likely to find the same rhythm being played by, let's say, somebody from Togo, a drummer from Togo, Borborbor and all that, just to factor that in the general question? Yeah.
Yeah, I think yes. Yes, it's like that because when you look at the whole thing, I'm also doing mine. He's also doing his. If you look at we drummers, most of the time, when you are not a creator, you can't call yourself a drummer. You must be able to create. So always we are creating. I use words, I use songs to create mine. All in the name of beat. We are playing beat on songs. So our neighbors in Togo, I think they also have their own way of doing theirs. Probably the ideas I have about mine, he might also have a different way of doing it, but I think we are all doing the same thing.
He said, if you are not a creator, you are not a drummer. But to me, creativity is about talent given by nature. Somebody is there to learn and play. Somebody is there can create, cannot play. So that's about the music. Just like a driver can never manufacture a car. Thank you.
This our trumpeter. It's a ginger man. So perhaps you better stop sleeping. I'll come to you. I guess what he has just said, the penultimate person he has said is that there are similarities, commonalities, as well as differences. For example, the processes or the underlining of the procedures may be the same. For example, speech surrogating may be the same, but maybe whatever someone else may be using may be different. Or what he has explained, using what a particular song, the rhythm of a particular song, the opening of a particular song, suggesting rhythmic motifs that the bastard drummer may play, maybe common to both, maybe Avis in Ghana and Avis in Togo. But it's important to remember that Borborbor is not only practiced or performed in only Ghana. It's wider than so what about the names? Do you have anything to say about Akpese? Akpese, I know Akpese was formerly is the predecessor of Borborbor. That is why Tuiji and Akpese, they were performed before Nualtros Borborbor took over. But it seems even Samanguna people call it Akpese. And even Togo, they have they are holding on to what Akpese. And for even what Borborbor. So if you want to make any comments, then we'll go to Dr.
I think Borborbor comes out from Akpese, because Akpese was there before Borborbor. And the difference is Borborbor goes slower than what the Akpese people have been playing. Of Akpese, that one is very, very, very fast. Very faster than what we are playing now. So I think we have Borborbor and we have Akpese. And that's the difference.
So again, we have to be careful. We're talking about Aviland, right? But again, geoculturally, with the sub-regionally, zones, Akpese means something different to the northern or the Avis in Ghana as a predecessor to what Borborbor. But Akpese to the Togolese is still what we some people are calling what I think Borborbor. If I'm making a mistake, you may correct us. So talk, please.
Oh, okay. So actually, the drum or the how do you call the Akpese drum itself is the original that Borborbor comes out from. The name Borborbor comes out from the Akpese just because when the ladies form the circle around the drummers and the singers, at a point in time, some of the ladies, screams after maybe a song, is finished, then a lady will scream, "Mi bobodeji, ali meole," those kinds of,
I remember one of the this mi bobodeji la ali mesafia la siwa owoso oyali yali mi bobodeji la. You have go ahead. Me not a pen now.
So that's where the Borborbor actually comes from, and the whole thing has become Borborbor.
Where these names are different, or Akpese is gone forever, and
Akpese is actually not gone. That is why some parts of even here in Ghana, people still call it Akpese, but in Togo they call it Akpese. Some people also call it Borborbor. So I mean, the two are the same, sort of.
Yeah, so in my interactions or my research, the findings was that, yes, Akpese was there, as we all know, but Borborbor, even before Nkrumah visited Pando and all that, what Nwatro was doing did not have a name. It was an experimentation. It had no name. But then, like the last speaker had said, it is due to the bending down nature, the dance movement, the bobodeji. That is how come the musical type derived the name Borborbor. So the Borborbor actually, for me, it's a brand. It is a brand name, and it was popular because Nkrumah harnessed it or used it as part of his political activity. And that is why Borborbor, the name, the term became very, very popular to the extent that even Akpese groups around the Ewe areas started even changing their names from, let's say, Akpese group to Borborbor, because that was what was in vogue. And everyone wanted to identify themselves, with this kind of brand. And you would notice that for the history along the line, Nuatro's group, the Borborbor, they started using the Akpese drums, which is what is being used now. So that is one of the reasons why when you go to Togo, they don't know Borborbor. They will tell you that Borborbor is in Ghana. But what they do there is Akpese. The same way some areas in the Anglon area, for example, they refer to it more as Akpese. I also know some Vedome areas that refer to it as Akpese. And of course, majority refer to it as Borborbor. So for me, the Borborbor was just a brand name for a new musical type that later harnessed Akpese drum instruments, and that is what has made Borborbor what it is.
So what about Agbeyeye?
Yes, I'm coming to Agbeyeye. These also have political connotations. Like I said earlier, that was the period where Ghana, the people around the Transvolta area were supposed to vote in the plebiscite to decide whether they want to be part of Ghana or part of, to be on their own, kind of. And, Nkrumah's struggle for independence, leading the struggle for independence and all that, the idea of a new nation, newness, new awakening, and Agbeyeye in Ewe means new life, new awakening. And because the Borborbor genre was synonymous with Nkrumah and the political slogans of Agbeyeye, 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 that musical type also assumed that name, that term, Agbeyeye, new life or new awakeness. So in some places, they call it Agbeyeye. Other places, they call it Borborbor. But these days, you would notice that the Agbeyeye is almost gone. You don't have a lot of groups calling themselves or referring to the musical type as Agbeyeye, but they will rather call the name of their group as Agbeyeye.
So what about the religious connotation of Agbeyeye? There is a song, Agbesi me notala nyemele gale no
yeah.
Agbesi me notala nyemele gale no gwe. Agbesi me notala nyemele gale. Oh, Agbeyeye. Oh, Agbeyeye. So what about when we are moving Borborbor from the secular domain into the church? It was a tug of war. It was not easy. So why not? Is it not possible also to dig into the religious implications of Borborbor, which was in the secular or profane domain, now being accepted into the church, and the singers and the members promising that, yeah, they are bringing what Borborbor with a changed new life. What about that?
I agree with that. But then we should also look at the history. Around what period were the name Agbeyeye being ascribed to the musical genre? I think if we agree on the period, because the Borborbor entered into the church in the 80s. So if we want to look at it in the context, which we can do anyway, but if we want to look at it in the context of repentance or acceptance of Christ, new life and all that, then that is much later in the 1980s. But if in the 50s, it was still referred to as Agbeyeye, then it couldn't be the church, Christianity. it is more of the wind of political, a new nation, rather more than the Christianity. This will be my
we understand it within a historical context.
Yes, historical context. Thank you,
Dr. Senyo.
Thank you very much. Dr. Fiegbeji, thank you for all the struggles to explain some of these things to us, and I can understand where you are coming from. And all the panel also, with all the very good information we are getting from all of you. But I want to put a question to Dr. Fiegbeji, which I believe has to do with the stylistic differences and environmental factors. You are an academic, and I believe you can explain this better. The work, you are kind of a researcher into Borborbor. I want to know how many areas have you gathered samples of performances from? And from the areas you got these performances from, have you studied them to see structural differences, vocal differences, drum patterns, and so on and so forth? If you have done some work like that, then you will be the better person to tell us the factors that the structural differences of various communities that we are talking about. It is maybe a bit difficult again for practitioners. For example, if you took Israel, whose members, some of them are Anglo people, some of them are Vedome people, and he's able to put all these people together. So his is kind of a brand that fits a particular. We cannot say that it is for the whole area because of the kind of people that are involved, or necessarily it's an Angolan one. So it's a hybrid kind of people that come together. So if you have gathered samples from all these places, then we'll be grateful if you can share some of your findings with us. That will tell us that there has been some environmental factors. Now, coming to the origin of Borborbor. In the morning, I listened to Dr. Gawa trying to talk about Kunkuma as some Kunkuman dance from the north, that some people have tried to induce something and they want to turn it. These are stories that I would have been glad he is here to respond to some of the things here. And again, Dr. Gawat made it clear that we should do more work to be able to tell how these things came about. And I'm passionate about origin, emergence, and development of Borborbor dance. Dr. Fiegbeji knows my passion on this work very well. I have done a work before on Akpese. And I say without a doubt, there is so much difference between Akpese and Borborbor. Akpese, that's the instrument used today, has no bearing on Borborbor. They are two different things. And we agree also that Borborbor emerged from Akpese dance. That also, I say this with authority because I have met one of the founders of Akpese in his lifetime. He's somewhere in 2005, 2006. I think he died 2008. How they started Akpese group itself. This started somewhere within the Awudome area and has traveled to Abutia and its environs and all over the places. It came out of this Konkoma, but the Konkoma, I am not able to tell whether the Konkoma so Dr. Gawa was talking about is a Konkoma, but I knew that the Konkoma of the Fanti people, that is what I do know, that the music, the Konkoma dance, gave birth to Borborbor within these areas. Now, Nuatro also, I am told by this man, I personally interviewed. So they went to, Awudome went to Peve to perform Borborbor at a Akpese, at a funeral. Nuatwa and his people also were there. And then they were also playing Konkoma somewhere in Bando. So they also came and saw what was going on. So Nuatwa had conversations with them. Going back to Bando, then emerged Borborbor. Now, what I want to say is that this is a version I have heard from somebody. But around the time, there were a lot of things going on, a lot of dances going on. Somebody in his community will listen to somebody and create something. Somebody in his community will create something. So we are not able to even say that, because if you listen to Akpese people, they will tell you that Twiji is a segment within the Akpese they perform. They don't call Akpese as completely a different thing. So it's kind of a form, part of the overall form of Akpese. So Twiji, you cannot refer to it as something on its own. But in another place, they will refer to it as something on its own. Agbayeye, for example, as I know it, is just a name that is given to an ensemble, for example, in my town. It's collapsed a long time ago. But Agbayeye was performing Borborbor. And these are one of the recordings John Collins did. I remember with his movable recording studio. He came to stay in John. I remember very well, there was Paul Bettison. He's a Danish scholar, was living in my hometown. Now, John Collins will come and stay there in the late 80s, early 90s to record. So he recorded this Agbayeye group. So Agbayeye is just a name of the Borborbor group. But to say that the Agbayeye is also a different kind of a genre, okay. You can. So for me, I feel Agbayeye as that. But to say we know exactly how it moves, all of us will have to research into that rather than speculating it all the time. I'm able to speak to Akpese because I have done some work on that. Akpese giving birth to Borborbor. And Borborbor, even there's a Akpese drum I took a picture of. So it was written on it, Kwame Nkrumah Akpese Band. John Collins and I did some work he published in Nigeria. So that particular drum is inside Kwame Nkrumah's Akpese Band. You know, around the time, everybody do something and then they are trying to associate Kwame Nkrumah to it because of the popularity. But Borborbor indeed was like a store, which everybody really associated with. However, all these dances we're talking about here have this connotation of flirtatious. They are almost all flirtatious dances. That's one thing I want to add. Every town you go, there is some kind of gestures and flirtations inside the drum, in the songs, and the way they perform it. Thank you, Prof.
Yes, thank you. Hey, this one is a
whole... Sorry.
This one is the inaugural lecture.
just a few. So I never said that Agbayeye is another type of musical ensemble or type. Yeah, I said that people refer to it as Agbayeye because of the wing of change, the new nation. Now, Prof. Dor sang a song. Agbesi Menochala. This is the Christian, the latter day version. The original version, Koklolo chude gbebe enu kemi fon lo. Koklolo chude gbebe enu kemi fon lo. Da 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 da. Awagbeye ye. This was what was being sung in the 50s. And Koklochu is the cockerel, representing the CPP, the symbol of the CPP. So it tells you about the political attachment or association of this genre. So it is not that I said Agbayeye is another kind of musical type. No, just that people gave these names.
Ascribed it.
Ascribed, yes. Thank you very much.
So with Tango we're in academia, this is not the court of law.
Yeah, thank you. We are gathering what data, that's all. So all these perspectives are very important. And I think if you had listened very well, we are almost on the same page. It is like our surnames. Our grandfather is called so and so, and our father is called so and so. Some people have decided to use their grandfather's name. Others have decided to use their father's name. But it's true that Akpese is still how the Togolese call Borborbor. So nothing can change that. We have also accepted that Akpese was a forerunner to Borborbor. So I think we are all on the same page. Do you have any other questions? Else we'll...
Quick, very quick one.
Another online. Online.
Let's go ahead.
Online participants.
Yes, good afternoon to everybody.
ahead. Could you unmute
Yes.
your camera so that we see your wonderful and beautiful face? Thank you. If it's go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, let's
Good
hear
afternoon.
you. Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, I would like to find out. My name is Maleko Michael. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes. At times when I listen to some Borborbor music, they introduce adondo or dondo to be part of the instrument. I want to find out whether that is also one of the instrument being used by our predecessors, or it is a modernity. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to respond to that? Any of you?
Yeah, I think we earlier said this, that Dondon was not part of the original, Akpese or the Borborbor. So it's the way of innovation, as we are here discussing. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. So, Dr. Adakwe.
So very quick one. I just want to have an idea. I want to be educated. That if the Borborbor dance, the differences between now, I don't know whether we are comparing Ghana to Togo or within the Volta region from communities to sub-regional. All right. So I just want to know whether there are changes in, let's say, dance movements from other communities to communities. I mean, you could answer as much as you can. Don't worry. I mean, talking about instrumentation from one community to another community, are there differences? And also lyrics and probably costumes and attire. And lastly, looking at the age limits, are there age limits to, in terms of Borborbor? Are the younger generation these days really interested in the Borborbor as it used to be, or we are still developing as a nation? Thank you.
So anybody can answer. Just press the button.
Talk about the dance side. Yeah, the Akpese dance is different from the Borborbor dance. The Akpese dance is the Togolese that normally perform the Akpese dance. They normally use the one wrapper, the one cloth. They go round the drummers, and then they don't usually bend down. They are always up and shaking their waist. So that's the Akpese dance. It goes faster. But the Borborbor, we bend, we go down, dance and shake our handkerchiefs. So that's the difference between the dance.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not a dancer, but I know there was a time that the kind of an exodus where Togolese Evi came to Ghana. And we can remember during the time of is it Eyadema, there was something called animation, where people were asked to choreograph dances. They used music and dance as part of a campaign for their region. So when some our friends from Togo came to Accra, for example, some of them were great choreographers. They added their Togolese insights to our performance, and we need to acknowledge that as well. Thank you.
Okay, so the drumming aspect too. Myself, I'm a drummer too. Yeah, so the drumming aspect too. You see, like the Georgian Borborbor group can create their drum, motifs, and other Borborbor groups too can create different things. But there are some, popular drum bass that, we borrow from each other. Yes. I mean, you can listen to some of the drum bass that are nice and you decide to use it and nobody will, blame you for using his drum because we all do it. We create ours. Some people, use it and we use some, other people's own too. So it's the same as the songs. And the dancing, aspect of it too. People create their own dances and there are some, popular ones that, go all over and any Borborbor group can also choose to dance on any song. So that's how it is actually.
Yeah. Okay. So very quickly, 30 seconds.
Yes, 30 seconds. You see, there's also one thing about this, our drummers and the soloists. This drummer over here probably does not only play for one group. He can be invited to go and join another group to play with them. So while he's there, if he has created something over here, he goes there. These are vocables. So during performance, he will just say, Miruto. He plays once, twice. The group picks, and then it goes on. So one drummer who creates his rhythmic pattern here goes somewhere, perform with them once, and then it's like bushfires. It goes. That is how it. And because it's vocables, people say, for example, Chivanyo Kofi Mo Nkonu. That you play it here. Somebody else will takes it, and then it goes, and it goes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're running out of time. We want to quickly move to some other questions so that we can... there was a question on the shaking of the buttocks, but we have addressed that before. Yes, when you said that it's not really the buttocks, but it's the waist. So we're not going to go into that debate.
Okay, I'm sorry, Professor Gawa is not here. He would have given some insights, but let's maybe end on the processes of transmission of Borborbor. Borborbor, we're talking about heritage, training and specialization, perpetuation of heritage. We have already spoken about the commercial viability of Borborbor. So we've already spoken about production, mass mediation, and dissemination of Borborbor. But what about the ramifications of Borborbor for other Ghanaian genres? Kofi Sapon, right? High life. And you hear about and all those. What do you see as Borborbor's future in terms of sustainability? I think this could be in terms of, let's think about heritage and close with that. Thank you. Yeah. So I guess you understand what to me. Transmission is how you, it's learning how you have something precious, how you help, you pass it on to the future generation, how they imbibe the knowledge of trumpets, of drumming, of composing from one generation to another generation. Remember, we're talking about the generational transformations and innovation. So we're talking about transmission, training, and so on and so forth. Then thinking about the future, or do you think you can project? Or do you think? Thank you.
Yeah, so with the issues of transmission and all, these days we are in the technological era. I mean, those days learning Borborbor, drum parting, songs and all that, you had to meet as a group or something and you learn from each other. But these days people are employing technology. So people go on YouTube, they have their phones, these things recorded on MP3s and all that on their phones, they listen, and whilst they listen, they learn. So I think that, well, going forward, we need to make use of technology more, because now, these days, even if we are doing the performances and all that, we are still streaming the performances. We are doing our recordings, putting them on social media for easy accessibility. and all that. You mentioned Kofi Sapon tried to experiment what he did and called it African Bob. Whether we see it as Borborbor or not is another thing. But there's a possibility that in the future, Borborbor, aspects of Borborbor might gravitate towards that side. Because when there is a generation of young people who have tastes of high life and want to blend tradition and modernity, it is likely to go beyond what we have now. Thank you.
So there's a great future for Borborbor.
Very much.
Fantastic.
Okay, I see the future of Borborbor very bright because you can see that nowadays everybody want to be involved in Borborbor. And so what I will urge us to do is to do more production. Whatever we have to put it out there for people to hear, listen, and learn. But Borborbor is such thing that you cannot just listen with your ears and say you are going to do it. It's very difficult. Unless you are there, practicality is the order of the day when it comes to Borborbor. But just to listen on YouTube and say you're also going to do it, it will be very difficult. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's what you talked about, the spirit the other time. When you play together, the aura is created, and the spirits can, you get what I mean?
Okay. To me, I see that Borborbor has a future because how it started the time I was very small. Those days, it served as a community group. They don't take any money before the group perform. Those days, small acquisition, then they are gone. But nowadays, somebody can form a Borborbor group and you pay 1,000 before the group perform. It's source of revenue. And it has give a lot of profit to the members as well. When some of the group, they introduce social welfare and such things, they contribute a little to help themselves. And I think right now, when you get to where we used to buy the drums at Peki, Pukwasi, nowadays very expensive. And the type that you want, you will not get. It means people are buying the drum, forming group every day, 247. There are new groups everywhere. So I think the future is very, very clear and bright. Thank you.
So what do you think about production of instruments? Because if people are buying them, what is production keeping pace with the purchases? People should learn to, manufacture these instruments. If not,
yeah, that one too is very, very important. And I think people doesn't have interest in it, and I don't know why. Because the time I went to buy the last round of Volta College, there is a group across the country called Volta College. I interviewed the producer of the drums. He said they will go to Basa, Volta North, for the tree that they used to produce the drum, before they will bring it to Peki. And that one alone discouraged. So, but to me, we have people in my village that produce the drum. And I was like, last week, I was talking to the man that he should just do one set. I'll just come and take a picture of it, then I'll market it for him so that he can start something. Because we have the trees and everything at our locality over there. So that's one part I did myself just last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. So as for me, whether Borborbor has a brighter future or not, it's a question I brought from my house for the organization, the organizers of the program to answer.
No, ask go on.
Yes, I am seeking for the answer to this question. Whether Borborbor have a brighter future or not. Yes. Yes, because we've been suffering a lot. We've come a long way. For me, I haven't seen anything. Yes, some people will organize some awards. They will tell us to vote. At the end of the day, I think they are rather using us. They are getting money. They are using us to get their money or whatever. But at the end of the day, we don't get anything. We go for programs, a group, we are about more than 50. We can go for one program we perform. At the end of the day, they give us 2,000. So imagine that 2,000, if you want to share it among ourselves, how much will one person get? You came from your house with transportation. You'll be going home. So have you made profit or not? So that question, I want to give it to the organizers to do something about it. Yeah.
Okay. Can I respond to that? Are you talking about these organizers? Yeah, so thank you. If you were here at the beginning, I said normally when we have a symposium, you see only scholars who come to present what their findings from research. We could have approached you individually, Dr. Iram Fiagbeji, we could have approached, but we realize there's a need to bridge the gap between the academic community and the practitioners. That is why I have already listening to very wonderful things. We are going to take stock of all our deliberations and again write and represent you. So that is not going to be what I think, but what all of us think. So we will always, there is something we always we call something in ethnography what ethics. We teach our students not to exploit what people the interview, and we will be the very last people to do such a thing. We will be your hot advocates. We've heard you, and we will all think of how to forge a brighter future for Borborbor. If there's any need, we'll come back to you to advise us, because one professor called Professor Meki Inzewe from Nigeria has once told me that, what do we normally say, what? 2 heads better than what? But Professor Meki says 2 good heads better than 1, because 2 bad heads can never be better than 1 good head. Anyway, go ahead.
So you know, now we have opened up. You can always come to the school here. You can always, you know, get contacts. And so there's a conversation that we have opened up now. We are interested in a dialoguing with you, in, you know, seeing your future too. We're interested in your future. You know, you have played for 25 years. What does the next 25 years look like for you? We're interested. You know, so let's keep the contacts going. Let's keep the communication open. And let's see how it goes from there.
Okay, so I'll also say Borborbor's future is bright, because looking at the transformation and innovations emerging, I know there is competition already. I mean, and the way you brand yourself, that will fetch you the market, the kind of market you want. So I will just, you know, tell my people, especially all the other Borborbor groups, to know that the way we are going, the competition is there. So if you are not able to package yourself well, you wouldn't actually get the kind of market you want. So I'll urge all of us to, you know, try to protect the integrity of this Borborbor we are talking about, so that in the future, we'll all come back here and, you know, laugh together. Thank you.
Yeah, so just one short one. Okay. Let me ask you people this one. Are you all working together? Are you collaborating? You know, because when you talk about competition can also, you know, stifle your growth and your advancement. This one is against that person, you know, and so on. In my time when I was playing band, when you charge this amount, somebody will go behind you and say, hey, how much are you paying? Come, give me this one. I drop this very low, you know, and so we are fighting ourselves. So is there collaboration among you, you know?
In actual fact, there is not. There is not, because you see, there are some people also taking advantage of what you are saying to just play on the intelligence of some people or some groups.
Yeah.
They'll go and then, to the extent that some Borborbor groups have to be parking Kia tracks, you know, to go and, you know, do their performances and stuff, which is very bad. Some of us, actually, it's our dream that we'll bring all the Borborbor groups together, you know, try to educate them on how, you know, to package themselves, not to be taken for granted, you know, just they'll bring Kia track for you to just jump in, you know, then you go to programs and come. No. I don't think that will help us. So we actually have to come together, put our heads together to see the way forward.
Okay, so once more, let's thank the panelists. They have done so well. Done so well. You have something. We're closing now. Half a minute.
Again, my name is Elombini. So I'm Israel Maweta's manager, like you said. You know, production is very, very, very expensive now. We've been talking about all these things. If you look at Israel Maweta now, if you go on the social media, I'm sure those who have been following him have seen the progress. The problem that we have is sometimes you invest so much money in all of these things, and pardon me, our own people, when they want to book you and you come with your booking engagement, Madam Rita is here. All of them, they are here. They can testify that the type of response we get or the engagement we get in terms of booking, quote unquote, is very, very disrespectful. They might not be willing to say it because of varied reasons, so I have to say it for them. Then again, another thing I want to touch on. Yes, I know, yes. Yes, to Dr. Fiagweji, yes, about the different drum patterns that we've spoken about with the different generational changes. Because you are the professor, you are the elites here. Would we make an effort to franchise or to patent our sounds? Because from what I even know, even our Ghana national anthem is copyrighted by a Chinese. So how do we make sure that we have a way to patent our Borborbor sound in a way to it generates revenue for us? And that can even be an incubator for all the other Borborbor groups to also source funding from. The collaboration is not happening because all of them are struggling. You are struggling alone. How do you collaborate at that level? Because there's no funding coming from anywhere. So how do we help ourselves? Thank you.
Okay, so just to add to you that I don't be discouraged. I've been a bandsman for 40 years. And I know what I saw. You know, so don't be discouraged. You know, don't be discouraged. It's going to be well.
Maybe during a similar, who knows? Similar symposium, we may need to invite experts in copyright and also in intellectual property to speak to the question you have asked. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause to yourselves and the panelists. It's been a very long day, very engaging discussions and very educative perspectives. I think we could go on and on and on, but for the fact that tonight we are going to exercise and wriggle our, not the buttocks and the waists, alima kasa, and yeah, these are the, you know, the botanical names of Borborbor. Alimakasa, Yeah, right. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all. You've been very wonderful. Thank you all for your questions, for your suggestions, your perspectives. I also want to thank, well, Professor George Dorr. He's a Carnegie Diaspora Fellow who has come here, and by the kind courtesy of his ideas and resources, we've been able to put this together. Professor Imielu, so grateful to you for, yes, always available. Yes, we are so grateful to you for co-moderating the various sessions. The head of Department of Music, Dr. Ajwa Ahin, we are so grateful for your support. Thank you so much. You've done a yo woman's job, this agenda description, a yo woman's job. We are grateful. To our esteemed practitioners, I think that this is unusual. It's unusual to have such caliber of talented practitioners of our heritage, cultural heritage, come into academia and have some kind of discourse with us. And we know you came from far and near, Volta and Accra, and we want to thank you so much for accepting, for honoring our invitation, and for bringing your knowledge and perspectives to our discussion. It is our hope that you will not be discouraged, because the lamentations are a lot, the challenges are a lot, but we need to keep our heads above the water so that we can, survive the harsh conditions, the vagaries of the weather, if you like. So we are grateful unto you. And for you, Bibi Groma, I think you've been here in your numbers. Please put your hands together to yourselves. We've been here in your numbers. The media, Mr. Ike Damte, Opong, and GTV and Joy News, the people from the media, we are so grateful unto you. Grateful to you, sorry, for coming. Mr. Ali Gasanga, cultural officer, regional, right? Greater Accra Region Cultural Officer of Coordinator of the Ghana Education Service. Thank you. He's been with us since morning, and he made a lot of valuable suggestions and contributions. So thank you very much. Yes, he's here with his colleagues. Hello. Thank you very much for coming. We are so grateful. To our secretary, Auntie Dora Beidu, thank you so much for doing the back door or behind the scene organizations. Our national service persons, we are grateful unto you for the wonderful support that you offered as colleagues, graduate students from the Department of Music and across the School of Performing Arts. We are so, so grateful. Our lovely participants online, we are so, so grateful that you made time to join us. Your data use has not been wasted. We are so grateful unto you. And we hope that next time when we organize such activities, you will all join us. Tonight, we have a concert. This is just the first phase. The other phase is to see what we've been talking about, the innovations. We see them play to us. 6:30 at the Ifwa Theodora Sutherland Drama Studio. We'll have the two groups, the Kawawa Borborbor group from Ashanti Kwetwa in the Volta region. Poeta in the Volta region representing, and Ejojinam Fafali Borborbor band from Abeka La Paz. So please, you are warmly welcome. We are starting at 6:30 sharp, and by 8:30, we are done. So thank you so much. Prof. Do you want to say something?
You know, it's very difficult to say thank you. He cannot say we should thank himself, right? So he is my host, research collaborator. I realize that you did not even clap for me. Hey, I come back to my alma mater. I brought good things. You clap for everyone except George Dorr. Hey, as for me, I am an agama lizard. I'll make sure that you do the right thing. Yes, I'm kidding. But the most important thing, he has invested so much into this symposium. he has collaborated very well in organizing this. And I tell you, he's done a yeoman's job. Without him, we would not have this. And of course, by our HOD, the queen of the music department, knows what I'm saying. So let's again show our appreciation to Dr. Aram Fiagbeji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Doe. And also we want to thank the acting dean, Professor Womana. So do for taking time of his. We will need to take a group picture, please. So we'll take a picture with you with the moderators, then we will all come together and have a lovely photograph. After that, we'll all descend to where we had the lunch refreshments. Yes, we want to spoil you so that after the refreshment, you move to the, I want to ginger you for the performance. So please, let's do this quickly. And please, no one should leave. We want to see you all in the picture. Thank you.